Welcome back, my friends. We're in familiar territory again today. This is going to be a short video because essentially what I'm doing today is something that I've done pretty much a couple of other times on the channel already, and it's restoring a Cyberman head. This one in particular is an old exhibition head, and it's seen better days. It was on tour a couple of times, and the very last time it was out, it fell over and face planted the concrete and split right down through here. Now, this happened probably about 15 years ago, and I received this head about 10 years ago. So yeah, there's a little bit of a catch up here. I've already done quite a bit of the repair work. I've repaired this facial crack here. It was all bent inwards like that, but now it's all, well, it's all lovely and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is, because it is a genuine exhibition head, I don't want to change it too much. However, that said, because it's not an original, I am going to redo the eyes. Now, if you look at these eyes and the mouth, I don't especially like them. They seem a bit too big and a little bit in the wrong position. Same with the holes over here. These are way too big for the handles, and the handles just rattle around. Now, that does help because it means the handles can be pushed and positioned incorrectly, but it's rather unsightly, and I'm going to try and address that. So you'll notice I've bunged it up here and just put some card in here, and what I'm going to do is fill this over with filler and smooth it back, and then hope that I can remove the backing without destroying the new filler, and then recut those holes. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, but like I said, there's no point going into full detail with this because you've seen it all before. I think I'll just give you the highlights. Okay, let's get to work. Right, I'm going to have to move a bit quick here, and hopefully this is going to work, but just put that in there. Well, there's no going back now. Alright, I'm just going to push that in because I don't want any air bubbles to appear in here. Normally I would say don't ladle the filler on like this, but I haven't got the option not to do that at the minute. Because if you put too much on, usually it's, you know, if you like icing a cake, it just makes it difficult getting it off. Let's take some of that off. So I'm definitely going to have to do 2 passes of this, that's for sure. It's also very hot at the minute. Actually, don't really want to waste this, but let's just put that on. Try a bit in the ear hole. The blue tape that you can see here, that's just basically to stop me having to do loads and loads of cleanup work. Just minimises it, makes it easier for me in the long run. My main concern at the moment is that when I take the backing out, is all this stuff going to collapse? That's the main issue. I'm hoping it won't, but you know, if it fails, it fails. This is just an experiment, because essentially I've got nothing else to lose. Not why I do that. I'll turn that off later. Well, it's the next day and my filler is completely cured. It's all nice and strong now. The backing's still on there, but as you can see, I've completely sanded it down. I've basically spared you from having to watch me do all that, so no need to thank me. So the reason for doing all this was, as I said yesterday, I felt that the eye holes were a bit too big, as were the mouth, and essentially they were slightly in the wrong position. This was a little bit lopsided, but the thing about it was, you could see that whoever originally made this head, when they cut out the eyes, it kind of got away from them rather quickly, and this one was particularly lopsided and a bit bigger than this one. Now, if you look at the original 1960s Cybermen, you'll see that pretty much every single one of them had different eyes, and they must have been, it can't have been a template for them, they must have just freehanded the lot. However, in this case, I'm sort of going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go for a slightly smaller eye. And in that light, I've got some templates here, and what I'm going to do is find a nice position for them, and the same with the mouth. I'm going to stick them on and then draw around them and then cut them out, and I'll be doing that with a rotary tool. Right, I've got a reference image printed out here for my Cyberman eye and mouth placement, and yeah, I think that looks about right. So it's very difficult to tell on this thing because the whole head itself is sort of skew width. This whole section here is sort of pointing that way. The main face sort of bulges out on this side and it's straight on that side, so it's kind of difficult to strike a center line, but I think that looks about right. Right, I have my weapon of choice all mounted up and ready to go for me to cut this. As you'll see, it's on a flexi shaft, and on the end is my cutting tool. Now what I will be doing here will be going into there and making a small hole all the way on each piece, and then swapping it over to this bit, and then as I cut I will creep up on the actual edges to get the size of the hole absolutely dead on perfect. Well, I said it was an experiment and it was worth a try. It worked out absolutely brilliantly. I managed to get this hole all nice and tight around this piece, and it fits absolutely beautifully. However, the other side is a different story. And no matter what I did, it just did not want to fit. It would not go in. And the reason being is that these tubes, they're not tubes, they're actually rods. They're one-piece acrylic rods that have been heat treated and bent. Now, this one is slightly better than that one in terms of its accuracy. If you actually look at it, look at the top there, you can sort of see there's a wave. Now, it's less pronounced on this one, but more pronounced on this one. You can just see it on this line here. Now, with the hole here all nice and tight as I had it, this just would not go in at all. So what I've had to do is take it out and leave it as loose and gappy as it was originally. This side, unfortunately I can't leave it like this. I've spoken to the client and he said, yeah, please reopen this back up to how it was originally. So as I said, it's a bit of an experiment, didn't quite work. Had these been, well, more accurate than they actually are in terms of the accuracy of the bend and the distortion through the heat of the actual size of these, it would have worked. Right, I think I've done a pretty decent job of restoring this thing. And it's not bad for something that was going to be thrown away. But I think we've been here long enough, and I'm going to quickly make good my escape. The reason being is I actually promised this to my wife about a decade ago. I said I'd do this thing up for her because it is actually her favourite type of Cyberman head. But unfortunately, a client did come to me about a week ago and said, "Oh, have you got a Cyberman head?" And I said, "Yeah, I have." And he wanted a tomb head, and it was this one. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll give him that. So, yeah, I'm going to quickly make good my escape. So until next time, stay safe, hope you're well, and I'll see you again in the next video. Actually, if I don't see you in the next video, tell the police it was my wife. Thanks for watching, and it's been a real pleasure sharing my project with you up to now. Bye bye.